This is my DPS build, Boink's DPS build. I know there's plenty and plenty of other iterations of a DPS build. This is just my version. It's probably going to be very, very similar to other people's builds as well. I also have different versions of a DPS build, which I can show you on how you can be a little creative around it as well. Okay, so you don't have to just always go pure reds for everything. There's some sort of leeway that you can use for the sub attributes to make it like yellow or whatever. So I'll just go from the top. So the specialization I normally use is the gunner, and the reason why I use the gunner is because if you look at the spec, one thing is the where is it? There we go. To generate the 10% total ammo, because I'm going to be using LMG the majority of the time. At the same time, you also get a good rate of fire increase by 5% on a kill. That's another big one. And then your weapon handling, I guess, yeah, that's fine too. But I think majority wise, if you play in a group, this ammo thing is probably the thing that I aim most for, because it helps me out and also helps my group out as well. Yeah. And I don't really care about the third reload, because again, if you use LMG with the MG5 with the fast hands, yeah, the reload speed, I mean, it'll just be even more faster then. So I use gunner, yeah, for pretty much that reason. And then again, the MG5. So initially I was testing out using strained, and I mean, strained is powerful. Okay, don't get me wrong, it's actually really good. This is the rolls I had. Okay, it actually packs a punch. So I actually use this for like any medics I want to kill fast, any lieutenants I want to kill fast, or the bosses. So I usually try to use up all my ammo for this. Okay, once I use up the ammo on this, I don't reload because it'll take too long. I switch to the second gun right here. So this is what I use, the fast hands one. So I got a really good roll. Okay, I got max damage to target out of cover, pretty close to max damage as well. Okay, and then I was able to roll, I changed or modified the fast hands talent to this gun. So this is actually my main bread and butter of this build, of this gun. So if you're lucky to get this type of RNG rolls with decently high damage, max target out of cover, yeah, and then make sure to get fast hands, boom, you are pretty much set. Like, you've pretty much got like majority of your build. Again, this is the bread and butter of the build. Okay, mask, everyone gets the mask. I just kind of have it here because I guess I could have used like another one like Grupo or something like that. So my main build is definitely 3 Providence. Like, for sure, everyone's going to tell you if you're going to make a crit chance crit damage build, you must have Providence build. Like, just 3 of them, and they all got to be reds. Okay, I mean, it has to be very specific too. So you can see each one of these Providence pieces I have has crit chance and crit damage. All of them do. Okay, so make sure you always have that. Okay, and then the other brands that I use. So Petrov is a must as well, because you're going to do LMG damage, right? If you choose to use an AR is still strong. If you do choose AR, and the AR that I would recommend is definitely the FAMAS. For talent wise, I mean, if you're going to do crit damage, you can put strain on it, or I don't know, Ranger is pretty nice too. I'm trying to think of another talent that was decently pretty strong. I forgot, but I think fast hands is overkill, because you don't really need the reload speed for ARs. It's fast enough, right? So that you can probably use it for those other talents that I was mentioning. Yeah, so either maybe strained or Ranger. I know I'm missing one talent. I forgot. I don't have it on top of my head right now, but I would say those are the ones that are mainly talents you want to use. But for my particular build, I just go LMG all the way, because again, too strong to pass up. Okay. So again, because I'm using LMG, that's why I use the Petrov on one of the places. Okay, I was very lucky to get a pretty much god roll. I'm only off by 0.1% on 2 attributes. Okay, I said this from a very early stream, some maybe like last week or something, and I was actually kind of like, on this particular item because of the repair skills, and I was like, man, if I had a red on that, this would have been a perfect. But you have to, so again, you have to be kind of creative with what you get, right? Don't just dump this. I mean, this is again pretty much close to God roll, right? So if you have something like repair skills, might as well, put something like a heal type of skill, whether it be a the what do you call it? The I'm just the chem launcher. There you go, heal chem launcher, or the armor, or the drone, the fixer drone. There, that's what it's called. The fixer drone is actually, I would say, the strongest heals out of all the heals that you can use for skill wise. I mean, besides the hive, okay. I'm just talking about like outside of the healer hive or something. That I would say out of all the heals, the fixture drone is probably the strongest heal. So because I got a repair skills on it, that's why I'm using the fixture drone. At the same time, if you kind of look at my talents, you see I have companion here. So if you solo play, a lot, having this talent with companion is going to be pretty buff with the fixer drone, because the fixer drone is actually considered your ally or skill, because the if you read the details, it says while you're within 5 meters of an ally or skill, your weapon damage increases. So the fixer drone applies to this, and I always get this companion buff every single time because it will always follow me. Another talent that I was testing out is vigilance. It does give you like 25%, yes, 10% more weapon damage, but if you get hit, you lose it for 4 seconds, okay, and then you lose that 25. Versus companion will always be with me as long as I have my drone up, okay, or if you're playing with a team and you're close by too, it'll still proc as well. But the armor drone is always pretty much on me the whole time. And then if it gets destroyed, it's like a 20-second cooldown, roughly. I mean, what would I have? Yeah, 24, okay? Pretty fast, Just wait 24 seconds, boom, and then you'll get back your 15% weapon damage, okay? Versus vigilance, again, vigilance is strong. Don't get me wrong. It's very strong. It's just that, once you get that little hit, you lose 4 seconds of... Sorry, you use up 4 seconds or lose 25%, within that 4 seconds or so. And then you just have to make sure you don't get hit again, But it is very strong. But this is, again, I think it's more about preference in this case, okay? So me personally, I don't know, I just like companion, okay, not new head. Second talent I use, and also a third brand that I would use is the Cheska. I think that's how you pronounce it. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm just going to say Cheska because of that little symbol. I think that's how you pronounce it. Okay. It's just to increase my crit chance. So if you kind of look at my stats, okay, I'm pretty much maxed at 60%. I believe my total crit chance is at 60.9%. So I'm off by 0.9%, which is fine. Okay. As long as you're not over by like, I don't know, 5%. Like, if you're over by like, 1 or 2%, okay, it's fine. You just kind of work around it. But if you're over by like 5%, oh man, you are wasting your stats, okay? Because you also have to consider your watch, your shade watch, because you can also get additional 10% crit chance if you max up the watch, okay? So eventually, you can pretty much roll something else on your items instead of crit chance, but in the early stages of your shade watch, so we'll just say from 0 to 100 shade, or actually maybe I should say 0 to like, I don't know, 300. Yeah, make sure you roll that crit chance on, and then get it close to max. You don't have to get 60. 55 is fine too, not a big deal. And then the mask also comes to play too. So that's why I said, with this mask, I'm kind of wasting the critical hit chance, the what do you call it? The skill or talent. Yeah, that's how you say the talent. But it's the 0 to 15 ones that, for the critical hit damage, that's what's going to help me out a lot. Okay, so I use Cheska because it gives me the additional crit chance. Okay, and if you put crit damage and crit chance, boom, you're gonna do tons of damage. And then it comes with a blue mod. So out of all the blue mods, I felt that protection from elites is probably the best for this because I play heroic a lot, and I'm gonna deal with elites like everywhere, every single time. So that is the reason why I put the protection from elites on this chest piece. Now, talents. I think it's close to important to have glass cannon. It doesn't have to be the perfect one because although you're amplifying 5% more, you're going to take damage 10% more. So I thought, normal glass cannon is perfectly fine. You're doing enough damage, and and I'm not going to get like hit that or hit more, I guess, or get damage more, because 60% is quite a lot. Also, all these damage amplifications, it's a multiplicative bonus. So it's a really interesting formula, and I don't want to get too in depth with it, because when you have your total weapon damage, so I'll look at my total weapon. So if you look at my all weapon damage bonus, it's at 90.6 plus my 40% on LMG. So those are additive bonuses. So I'm actually totally doing 130% weapon damage plus a multiplicative weapon damage of the 15 come from companion and 25 from glass cannon. So I'm doing a multiplicative of 40% more weapon damage. And this is the reason why I'm able to do like, I don't know, 550, 600-ish, crit hits, all that stuff. So it all kind of adds up, okay? So again, to get to the minimum, the maximum you can get on a specific weapon damage is 40%. 15 is from your specialization. Another 15 is from your gun. And then the other 10% is from the brand bonus that I mentioned. So in this case, it would be the Petrov. Yeah. Oh, let me make sure I'm private. I don't want someone to join me during since I'm making this as a video. Let's see, where was I at? Yeah, so this is my pretty much weapon damage bonus and everything. Yeah. Kind of going back. The skills that I prefer, that I've normally been running when I use this build, is the Revive Hive, and as you already know already, it's the Fixer Drone. As explained from previously, because of companion, and also it heals you, right? Because again, I'm considered a glass cannon, just exactly what the talent is saying, right? I'm just pure DPS, pure damage, right? If you go out in a group, right, and you play like heroic stuff, you cannot all be DPS builds. Otherwise, you're pretty much going to fail, because everyone is pretty much like a glass, like I said, yeah, glass cannon. So one little mortar hit, grenade, fire, whatever, anything, you'll be dead. So that's why what I like about this update is there are roles again. You need to have a balanced group of players that can either heal or tank, to draw aggro. The skill builds to have crowd control, right? And the crowd control skill builds are like the mortar, blinders, seeker mines, sticky bomb fire ones, whatever. Anything that has any kind of crowd control, would help me, because if they get dazed or whatever, or has a status effect, I can just finish them off, because I'm the DPS guy. And then let's say there's a tank, right? They draw all the aggro, so no one is attacking me. They're attacking our tank, and then I just finish them off. Boom. So as long as you guys play like a team and don't care about stats, like for me, like who cares if I get 150 kills and my teammates get like 20 kills? That doesn't mean anything, because it's not all about like, oh, I got the most kills, I'm the best player, I'm MVP. No. You can't think of it like that. You have to think of it like you are a team. You know your roles. The DPS is supposed to get 150 kills. The tank, his stat, if you look at at the end of the stat, there's a stat that says damage taken, right? If the tank is able to do almost like, I don't know, 600, 1 billion, damage taken, oh shoot, he's MVP, I think, because look, he's aggroing so much stuff, right? The skill build guys, their stat needs to be like some 100 millions on the skill damage thing, right? And also the other stats of like how many people they blinded, how many people they burned, all that stuff, how many people they bled. Those stats matter for that, and you need it for doing these heroic or eventually legendary runs too, right? So essentially, yeah, this is my version of the DPS build. That's right, sorry. And then other variations that I initially had was this one right here. It was with the Ninja Bike one. This was my first version ever doing this, and then as you can see, I have some yellows. So during that time, I wasn't too picky with my build. I just like thought, okay, I have some reds, and let's just throw it together. And I was lucky to get the Ninja Bike Messenger. These are only found in the Dark Zone. Okay, so you have to go to the Dark Zone to get these. I was very lucky with my rules that I had. What's unfortunate is that once you get the exotic, you cannot re-roll or change any of the attributes. I believe I kind of like that system because it actually, in a sense, forces you to refarm that exotic. It's not like, oh, I got that exotic and then end game, like done. You know, I don't need to like deal with it anymore, right? Some people like the grind, the farm to get the max roll item of the exotic. So I kind of like the system, but I can also understand why people might not like this system, because then it's like, oh my god, I wasted so much time finding the Bullet King, but then the Bullet King only does like, 5% damage or something, something low, that would suck. Yeah, I've seen like posts on Facebook where like people got like really low rolls on exotics, and I feel bad for them. And I get it. I understand. You farm so hard for something like the Bullet King, and then you got low rolls, and that sucks. But again, it's the excitement and the feeling you get like when you see that exotic drop, right? Your heart melts, and you're like, I pray, did I get awesome RNG, on the rolls, right? And then that anticipation, that 5-second anticipation, running towards that exotic, seeing what you get. That's, I think, the beauty of this game. We didn't have that in the early versions of the title updates 1 through 7, right? We didn't have that type of feeling, but now we do. So like when you see that red eagle, on that shine, on the exotic, you're now like, you don't have that like that previous feeling where like, oh, okay, I got the exotic, and then I know it's going to be max rolls, right? Now it's more like feeling like, oh man, like, did I get like the awesome roll, or did I get the crap stuff? I hope. And then you pray, and then that 5-second, of that feeling, oh man, it just feels so good when you do get the max roll, right? So I personally like that type of emotion, that type of feeling that Massive is trying to portray to the gamers, or to us as players. And I think a lot of people kind of overlook that, so I'm just kind of, again, being a little bit more in depth on the reasoning behind it. I feel okay. Sorry, going tangent. This is my variation build. So again, I was just saying that I had yellows, and fortunately they were all repair skills. So then I was like, oh man, how can I creatively make a build out of this? And I was like, oh, fixer drone, boom. So now I'm getting like, how much percent? 34, or say, hold on, I'll just estimate 20 plus 15, 35 plus 17 is like 52. Okay. 52, repair skill percentage, right? On a damage build. Like, wow, that's a pretty decent bonus, right? So while I'm dealing a lot of damage, I'm also getting healed quite a lot if I happen to get hit. So this was, again, my like version 1, like very early iteration of a damage build. But now it's kind of now evolved to this one. So I actually have a few other damage builds. I was trying to work it around with like Grupo. And that's right. Let me kind of go back with Grupo. I had it, I think this one right here. Yes. Okay. So if you can't find a good Cheska piece, because like I said, the main brand sets, again, that you must have are 3 Providences. Okay, so that's already three items gone. Whether it's a Petrov or Fenris, whatever gun you're using. So again, I'm using LMG, so you must have a Petrov. That's 4. Okay, the 5 and 6. Okay, if you don't plan on using exotic such as the knee pads or the mask, then go for like the Grupo or Cheska. So like I'm just highlighting with Grupo. The Grupo is good because you just need that one stat, the crit hit damage, because that's going to essentially buff up your damage output. Okay. So Ideally, of course, you would want all reds. So given that I had weapon damage, well, weapon damage is a core attribute, so that's always fixed. But I already had crit chance, and then I think I got a low roll in weapon damage. That's why I chose to recalibrate the weapon damage. So I would say if it's 12% or under, give or take. If it's 12% or under, then I would and you got good rolls on the sub attributes, then I would recalibrate max weapon damage if you can. But if you're like 12% and above, then see if you can roll something else. So let's see. Let me look at another item that I had that like this one. Okay. I don't know if this is a good example actually. Let me try to find one that has a better example. Sorry. Let me look at this. Is this a better example? Okay. Perfect. Perfect example. Okay. So you see how my weapon damage isn't maxed, but per my rule, if it's like above 12% or so, then re-roll something else that can fulfill the crit damage, crit chance requirement that makes a very strong damage build, right? So that crit chance, I think, was something else. I don't know what it was, but it was something else. And I thought, okay, my weapon damage and crit damage rolls are decently high, and those are the stats that I want. So in that case, fill in the blank. I need crit chance. Boom. And then re-rolled that. So that kind of gives you a better idea of what attributes to roll and what to destroy or give up. Okay. Let's see. I don't have any items where I think all the items that I got, like I already destroyed it. But for instance, like a bad roll would be like, let's say, okay, let's say this backpack. You see, I have a natural weapon damage at 15%. Okay, it's a natural one. I didn't have to recalibrate. I recalibrated the crit damage. But let's say, for example, I got a natural 15% weapon damage, but then the attributes were like blues and yellows. Then like, oh crap, that's no good because you want reds, right? But like I said, sometimes you might have to be creative and look at my LMG. Like for instance, this one, I think I had a weapon damage that was like natural high, like 14.9. That's close to max. Okay, I think my crit chance was like a blue, and then I had repair skills, right? So just because it was a blue and a yellow, you got to look at like how large the attribute is. So again, my repair skills was close to max, and I was like, man, I feel like it would be such a waste just throwing it away. So what can I do? Again, this is where you kind of have to bring in your creative juices of, how to make a build. And I was thinking, okay, since I'm using the fixture drone anyways, I might as well just, make use of it. So in that case, at this time when I had this item, I was low on crit chance. So that's why I put crit chance over it. But eventually, what is so great about this game is the library. If I happen to have more than 60% already and I need to lower it, well, nice. I can change that crit chance to crit damage. And then wow, your crit damage goes up, right? Because like I said, your watch, right? Eventually you're gonna be maxing this crit chance up. Eventually, I don't know if you keep playing, right? If you just keep playing, it's going to max up to another 10%, right? So I have 0 right now. So meaning if I just even increase it by 5%, then if I increase by 5%, then it's just an easy recalibration to just change that into a crit damage. Like wow, So that's why I really enjoy the new recalibration system and the whole library, because you don't have to refarm, to get like how TU7 and before was, right? All you have to do is make sure it's in the library, and then boom, you just put it in, and then you have your own god rolls, made up, So that's kind of how you should kind of make your builds and things like that. Yeah. But okay, I think that's pretty much the overview of my current DPS build, and hope you guys have luck on finding the god rolls and high rolls and all that stuff. So make sure you just get all reds with weapon damage, crit chance, and crit damage. That's pretty much what you need to aim for. And then again, MG5 with fast hands. Okay, well, this is a Boink 1209, And this is my DPS build. Thank you.